What we're going to be talking about today is comma splices and fused sentences. Two common mistakes that a lot of people make, but they actually are pretty easy to fix. A comma splice results when you place a comma between two independent clauses. And remember, an independent clause is something that can stand alone as a sentence. In the example, it's not just a job, it's an adventure. Those are two independent clauses. Separating them with only a comma causes to be a comma splice. Another common error that's a lot like a comma splice is a fused sentence or a run-on sentence. This is what happens when two independent clauses or two sentences are joined and there's no punctuation or connecting word in between them. You can use the same example as we used before. It's not just a job, it's an adventure. This time there's no punctuation in the middle, no comma, no nothing. That's called a fused or a run-on sentence. But there are ways to fix these. Fix number one is to separate the clauses into two sentences. This is the easiest way to revise a comma splice or a fused sentence. Now we have, it's not just a job, a separate sentence. It's an adventure, separate sentence. So that's one way to fix a comma splice or a fused sentence. Another way is to link the two independent clauses with a comma and a coordinating conjunction. In this example, don't forget fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So look at our example. Interest rates fell, so people began borrowing more money. This is a way to link our two clauses using a coordinating conjunction. Then we move on to the third fix. Rewrite the two clauses as one independent clause. So what this is sentence combining, and in doing so, you change the sentence so that it works as one complete sentence. Here's a fused example. A large part of my mail is advertisements, most of the rest is bills. That doesn't work as a sentence. It needs punctuation, it needs to be separated. But what you can do to fix this is change it up a little bit. Most of my mail is advertisements and bills. Now we have one sentence that works very well. Fix number four. Rewrite one independent clause as a dependent clause. All this means is one of the sentences you can turn into a dependent clause, attach it to the independent clause using a comma or some other type of punctuation, and the problem is solved. So here's a sentence using a comma splice. Zora Neale Hurston is regarded as one of America's major novelists. She died in obscurity. Now this is a comma splice. The comma is in between novelist and she, and it doesn't work. To fix this, we can say, although Zora Neale Hurston is regarded as one of America's major novelists, she died in obscurity. So now, by adding although, we've turned the first part of this sentence into a dependent clause, and the problem is solved. Now fix number five, link the two clauses with a dash. Now the dash is a punctuation mark that a lot of people don't use because they're not exactly sure how to use it. This is a perfect example of how to use a dash. Our comma splice says, exercise trends come and go, this year yoga is hot. There's nothing wrong with that sentence if we change the punctuation. Instead of a comma, use a dash. Same sentence, better punctuation, no comma splice. Then we get to fix number six. Link the clauses with a semicolon. Another piece of punctuation that isn't used very often because people don't know exactly what to do with it. So here we have a comma splice. This photograph is not at all realistic. It uses dreamlike images to convey its message. We've got a comma. And all we have to do is replace that comma with a semicolon. The sentence now works perfectly. So this is a good way to take care of those very, very common sentence errors. Comma splices and fused sentences. 6 easy to do fixes. So next time you think you have a comma splice or a run-on sentence, use one of these fixes and that won't be a problem anymore.